मनोभीष्टं तले स्वयं रूपकयदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are looking into the ways to attain Krishna's grace. Krishna's grace is still open to a practitioner at any stage. And Krishna chooses at his free will whom to be merciful on them, to remove ignorance or to remove any other anarthas. But one must cling to the lotus feet of the Lord by hook or crook. I don't know, crooking is is valid, but certainly it is necessary for a sadhak to be properly connected to the disciplic succession. That is the way it's already been ascertained. And it is also necessary that devotees, spiritual practices, and the way of life authorized by bona fide guru and the Vaishnavas, that also should be taken into account, because mercy is flowing through this medium also. However, the parampara's grace cannot be restricted to any physical presence. Bhava can become manifest in one of the many ways. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada emphasized offenseless chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and preaching in constant association with pure devotees as the most potent path to perfection. If we keep on preaching in recognition of a senior devotee, an advanced devotee, that your efforts will be supported and can fetch mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, because that is the right way. We have to honor the seniority in preaching. So Thakur Bhakti Vinod's is telling that Bhav Bhakti can be truly awakened Agyatahal is what it speaks. Krishnere sansar karo chhadi anachar. Jive doya Krishna naam sarva dharmasar. Anachar. One should not become so much envious of one's wife even. And during even a breakup in the marriage. One should not become so envious to the one. One should not create within the temple a kind of a political atmosphere to denigrate a woman who is supposed to be protected. And that is anachar. And if the temple also gives support, or some congregation members also support such thing, this is also coming under anachar. These are not recommended activities to develop love of Godhead or chanting Hare Krishna. So, Krishnera sansara karo chhadi anachar, jive doya Krishna naam sarva dharmasar. Giving up all sinful activities, carry on your worldly duties only in relation to Krishna. Show compassion to other souls and loudly chant the holy name of Krishna, the essential forms of all religion. That is and the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the essence of religion is to live purely, show mercy to all living entities, and why not to one's wife in Grihasthashram, and chant the holy name of Krishna. There is no difference whomsoever between Krishna's name and Krishna himself. So by mercy of the holy name, in a few days your spiritual form will awaken you and you will float in the ocean of eternally sweet Krishna Prem. Then Krishna, in the form of his names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, will personally reveal himself to you. We have lots of trouble. Even in my disciple family also. Oh my God. What a rotten life if one does not heed to the instructions. What is the use of their chanting? It simply show a pseudo devotee. How often did Srila Prabhupada emphasize that serving the holy name would give aspirant all perfection? It was his faith in the potency of the holy name that set Srila Prabhupada apart from the other contemporary Vaishnavas. By that faith, Srila Prabhupada inspired Western Malechas to become pure Vaishnavas. And by that faith, he inspired them to dedicate their otherwise opulent but miserable lives to the service of Sankirtan movement. His Divine Grace wrote of his faith in the conclusion of this poem, Markine Bhagavad Dharma. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have a strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. And I have been designated as Bhaktivedanta. And now it is, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta through me. Bhakti Srila Prabhupada handed over himself to the mercy of the holy name. Thakur Bhaktivinoda expresses the extraordinary potency of the holy name to bring the worshipper to perfection in other wonderful song. I did not get this song.
Oh, yeah. I've got it really different. I just didn't put it.
Okay. Vidya also sent that, right?
I got it off the internet.
Okay. What that wonderful song is translated. How much power does the name of Krishna possess? My heart constantly burns in the fire of worldly desires like a desert scorched by the sun. The holy name entering my heart through the holes of my ears showers unparalleled nectar on my soul. The holy name speaks from within my heart. Uh, Move on the tip of my tongue and constantly dances on it in the form of transcendental sound. My throat becomes choked up, my body violently trembles, and my feet move uncontrollably. Rivers of tears flow from my eyes. Perspiration pours from my body to turn pale and discolored. Mhm. Uh, my body thrills with rapture, causing my hair to stand on end and my skin to turn pale and discolored. Uh, my mind grows faint and I begin to experience devastation. My entire body is shattered in a flood of ecstasies. Uh, while causing such an ecstatic disturbance, the holy name showers liquid nectar on my heart and drowns me in the ocean of divine love of Godhead. He does not allow me to understand anything, for he has made me truly mad and has stolen away my heart and all my wealth. The Thakur continues. Such is the behavior of he who is now my only shelter. I am not capable of describing all this. Krishna's holy name is independent and thus acts as his own sweet will. However, he becomes happy is also my happiness. The holy name is the bird of the flower of divine love and abode of devotion's wonderful mellows. Such is the power he manifests, that although he displays his power only slightly, he reveals his own divine form and qualities and stills my heart and takes away it to Krishna. Being fully manifest, Krishna's holy name takes me to Vraja and reveals me his own love dalliance. It's the holy name that has brought us to Vraja, Vrindavan, those who are staying or planning to stay. So we should be very grateful to the holy name. He gives me my own divine eternal body, keeps me near Krishna, and completely destroys my mortal frame. Don't be afraid if the mortal frame is going to be destroyed. Krishna's name is touchstone, a mine of all devotional mellows, eternally liberated, and the embodiment of pure rasa. When all impediments to the pure chanting of the holy name are taken away and destroyed, then my happiness will know its true awakening. So before that, the holy name is trying to influence the jiva in the love of Godhead. A diehard skeptic may doubt whether Srila Prabhupada's physical absence and in apparent isolation from the other senior Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There are examples of ISKCON devotees achieving perfection. Have any devotee achieved the realization of which Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings? Have any of the ISKCON's followers, by serving its mission, gone back to Godhead? Yes. My godbrother's wife also went back home, back to Godhead. And those who attended her last minutes of consciousness. I held her hand where everybody is chanting, and she was also chanting, and when the pulse subsided, just to see her pulse, then I shouted, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. She is Shivaradhya Prabhu's wife. Karmi name was Renuka. And spiritual name was, oh my God, I forgot. Let me remember. She was Satsu Maharaj's disciple. I will have to ask Shivaradhya. And I'll ask him to pardon my memory, but anyway, we are close. I'll remember. I was calling him, and I could not get his response. He must be busy preaching somewhere in New York. So anyway, the following example of an apparently ordinary devotee's ascent to perfection should amply answer this question. North of England, the wife of a temple president became terminally ill. She was locally well-known and well-liked Vaishnavi who kept the temple's account, guided the women, and raised 2 children. She was not what the devotees generally understand to be a big devotee. First initiated by Srila Prabhupada, she did not even have the mantra diksha. She was a wife and mother and steady devotee, but not someone to whom devotees offered obeisances. Means she was not second initiate. She was first initiated by Srila Prabhupada. The mantra diksha is the Gayatri mantras. That is, it includes a second diksha only. So, she was a wife, a mother, a steady devotee, but not someone to whom devotees offered obeisances when she passed by. An ordinary devotee. This devotee bore her disease with dignity and in few months before her death, confidentially revealed to her husband and unfolding of her spiritual identity. She said that she was a gopi in Nandagram. While lying in utmost physical discomfort, she disclosed some of the services she was rendering to Krishna in Vrindavan. Her favorite being to pack his lunch. This woman had no access to Mahabhagavat on the physical plane. She always prayed to Srila Prabhupada, and she was awarded spiritual success simply by sincerely serving his order and mission. So the answer is yes, it happens. It does happen in ISKCON. We have faith in Srila Prabhupada that by following instruction, we will become lovers of Krishna. Of this, there can be no doubt. Yeah, I remember Renuka's name is Ragamarg Devidasi. Ragamarg Devidasi. You know, I was with them and she was not that sick. So when I was returning to Fiji at that time, you know, within few days of my return, Shivaradhya called me, Maharaj, please come back. Oh my God. I said, what? Renu is in hospital in critical stage, and she was on ventilator. All right. She has problem, but her diaphragm collapsed and she was unable to breathe. And I was part of their life, I pulled Shivaradhya and Adya to take initiation from Srila Prabhupada, and they all sat with me. So Ragmarg Devidasi was an ordinary, very timid, fragile body, but still she had two sons, and both are initiated devotees of Radhanath Swami. I still go, but when Shivaradhya summoned me back, I have to fly again. In less than few days of my arrival from New York. And I went. I was with them. And otherwise, Shivaradhya is very soft and cannot handle. But devotees also converge. I remember all our group, Atmaram's daughter were there, and Mahajwala Mataji was there, and many devotees who were acquainted. They ran, and the hospital room was filled up with the devotees chanting in a very sober way. And we know that as soon as we remove the ventilator, she will not hold very much. Even my father also left in my hand, and I was chanting, and he was also chanting because he was also on the ventilator, and I was called. To commemorate the devotees passing from this world is very important. Recently, Pinakin also passed away. Today is his funeral in Brisbane, and he lived a very horrible life. He made his wife suffer. And somehow or another, he was at loggerheads with me, insulted me. But yet I called him and told him, forget everything and just chant. And he left his body 3 days back. And today they kept the funeral. But it is simply a show. There are different situations that Krishna's holy name certainly does the miracle, but sometimes it shakes us that seeing the horrible situation in the life of what can we do? We have limitations, but the principle is still there open, that mercy of the holy name is still available, and however a person may be, we must chant for him and remind him of Krishna at the last moment of his breath. It is simply the faith on the holy name alone makes our life successful to go back home, back to Godhead. Of this, there can be no doubt. Anyone who challenges this premise should be kept a distance, a far distance, and not to associate with them. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Now, we are entering into chapter number 10, the regulative devotional service. Ragahina jana bhaje shastrera agyaya vaidhi bhakti bali Tare Sarva Shastre Gaya. Those who have not attained the platform of spontaneous attachment in devotional service render devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, according to the regulative principles mentioned in the revealed scriptures. According to the revealed scriptures, this kind of devotional service is called Vaidhi Bhakti. This is said in Chaitanya Charitamritam, Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 109th verse. So to begin, chapter 10, the regulative devotional service. Now, actually, our journey starts from here, but with all that in-depth background, we should study this. Chapter 9 discusses the three divisions of pure devotional service, sadhana, bhav, and prema bhakti, along with their characteristics. This chapter discusses devotional service in practice, that is sadhana bhakti, in greater depth. Devotional service in practice has two divisions, regulative vaidhi and spontaneous raganuga. That has been described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 108th verse. Regulative and spontaneous. These are the two main divisions. The basic difference between the two has to do with what impels the practitioner to perform devotional service. What has caused? The impetus for regulative service is the faith and sometimes fear of consequences of disobeying scriptures. We are supposed to follow four regulative principles. We are supposed to follow the offenses that will hamper our devotional service and should recite every day. Many devotees who are not doing it, they just take it for granted. That is not a good thing. In sadhana bhakti, we should recite all the 10 offenses. Generally, when a person is getting initiated for the first time, the spiritual master has to make them aware of 10 offenses. But not for one day only. Then they should cultivate the process to remember them every day before they start chanting. Let's see. What impels the practitioner to perform the devotional service? So the impetus for regulative service is faith in the holy name and sometimes fear of consequences of disobeying scriptures. And for spontaneous devotion, a natural intense longing for Krishna's service, lobha, is required. Which path devotees adopt depend upon their qualification. As Srila Prabhupada writes, spontaneous service is not artificial. This is also said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 109th verse, purport. You can't play with the murti of the Lord the way to express your spontaneous loving service. The Sahajiyas, I told you before that I challenged one Mayavadi, and one Gujarati girl was after. She left her children and husband and became mad after. And because she's staying in Vrindavan, I contacted her and I wanted to reach her. So she says, Maharaj, can you come and visit me? I said, okay. So I went to her place. And they are not directly connected to one of the four sampradayas. And this person was encouraging this lady and made her run away from her house from America all the way to Vrindavan, run away. Like runaway bride. And I saw she had a deity. And deity's face was completely different than the rest of the body. And it's a fanciful carving in the stone, or it may be even what you call plaster of Paris, black color. But the color on the face was completely different than the rest of the body. So I immediately challenged her, are you kissing your deity on the face? And says, yes. I said, that's stupid. Huh? This is not Raganuga Bhakti. Huh? So, anyway, they have no qualification. Srila Prabhupada writes, spontaneous service is not artificial. Only with the guidance of spiritual master and senior Vaishnavas can practicing devotees know the level of their own qualification. That's why it is very important that we need to associate with the senior Vaishnavas. It is generally understood, however, that because very few devotees are initially fit for spontaneous devotion, most practicing devotees begin by following the path of regulative and devotion. That is ISKCON. ISKCON does not tolerate those who are sahajiyas. They have to curtail. Why are so few devotees initially qualified for spontaneous devotion? Neophyte and even intermediate devotees rarely have genuine greed. For this reason, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers advise devotees without pure greed to practice regulative devotion. The external activities of both regulative and spontaneous devotion service are the same. And thus, this study of sadhana bhakti will stay within the context of regulative devotion service. Books such as Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Jaiva Dharma use this authorized process in order to discuss the details of bhakti. It is a common misunderstanding among devotees that spontaneous devotion is thus a practice only for liberated soul. But Rupa Goswami's twofold divisions of devotional service in practice reveals that this assumption is incorrect. There are good reasons, however, why neophytes have been discouraged from practicing the spontaneous devotional service. Reason this book will discuss later. For now, the reader should remember that Lord Chaitanya's teaching, spontaneous devotion, is one of the two aspects the sadhana bhakti and the soul aspect of bhav and prema bhakti. I think we have to clear up our fundamentals again in order to be very precise with resolution and greed for loving Krishna. Devotees are often confused. What kind of regulative devotion? Devotees are often confused about the role regulative devotional service plays in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. The mission is meant to bless souls with the spontaneous devotional experience by the Brajavasis. Sometimes neophyte rejects regulation or regulative devotional service and artificially take up the practice of spontaneous service, creating havoc in ISKCON and in their own spiritual lives also. Other times, devotees reject Vraja Bhakti, hoping that the regulative practice they will attain one of the innumerable Vaikuntha planets. Both this type of devotees support their behavior by citing and following the verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. ऐश्वर्य ज्ञाने विधि भजन करिया वैकुंठे के याय चतुर्विध mukti paya. By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and attain the four kinds of liberation. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, 17th verse. This verse appears in the section of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes Krishna's expansions and external reasons for the Lord's descent. External reasons for Lord's descent. The destination and the types of liberation mentioned here appear inconsistent with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ultimate mission, which is to return to Goloka. Mahaprabhu's ultimate mission. By imbibing the service mood of Brijavasis. When devotees read this verse, therefore, they either reject regulative practice, thinking that it's irrelevant to Vraja Bhakti, or they think that Vraja Bhakti is for others, not for those who read that tread the path of regulative services. It is important, therefore, to reconcile how Lord Chaitanya's followers can go to Goloka Vrindavan by practicing regulating devotional service. The essence of solution lies in the proper understanding of the mood with devotees of Lord Chaitanya take up the regulative devotional service. The mood has two aspects. The first is that Shyama Sundara of Vrindavan is the devotee's most worshipable deity, Istadev. They do not worship any other form of Godhead. The second is the faith that following the loving mood of the inhabitants of Vrindavan is the way to achieve Shyam Sundara. This is the mood expressed in the verse Chaitanya Manjusha, beginning with Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Taddhamam Vrindavanam. So, understand when Brajavasis are coming in the mood that devotees want to follow, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ultimate mission was there, not the beginning. Because beginning is Sankirtan, Yagya hi Sankirtan prahe yajanti sumedasa. So Sankirtan Yagya is there of external practice to spread the mission. And people who are immaturely entering into the Shyamasundar mood, or Radha Shyam, generally they appreciate Radharani more than Shyam Sundar. And they fall victim without understanding the hara potency of the holy name. They are sticking to, and they also carried away and glorifying Radhe, Radhe, Shyam Milade. Oh my God. So that verse that Aishwarya Jnane Vidhi Bhajan Kariya Vaikunthe ke Yai Chaturvid Mukti Pana. By performing such a regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and attain the four kinds of liberation. Spoken in Adi Leela, 3rd chapter, 17th verse. But it creates misunderstanding. So, when devotees read this verse, therefore, they either reject the regulative practice, thinking that it is irrelevant to Braj Bhakti, and they are in Braja. Or they think that Braj Bhakti is for others and not for those who tread the path of regulative service. It is important, therefore, to reconcile how Lord Chaitanya's follower can go to Golok Vrindavan by practicing regulative devotional service. There's a deeper understanding. The essence of the solution lies in proper understanding of the mood with which devotees of Lord Chaitanya take up regulative devotional service. That mood has two aspects. The first is that Shyamasundar of Vrindavan is the devotee's worshipable deity, Ishtadev, and they do not worship any other form of Godhead. The second is the faith that following the loving mood of the inhabitants of Vrindavan is the way to achieve Shyamsundar. That what we spoke, that Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesh Tanayas Tat Dhamam Vrindavanam. So, that deity is Ishtadev, they do not worship any other form of Godhead. We are much more attracted to even the photograph, and most of our homes, devotees' homes, you will find Radha Shyam Sundar of Vrindavan, the photograph there. The second is the faith that following the loving mood of inhabitants of Vrindavan is the way to achieve Shyam Sundar. Regulative practice with these 2 points in mind leads to spontaneous practice and to Braja. Srila Prabhupada states that devotional service performed under the regulative principles helps devotees rise to the stage of Raga Bhakti. That is in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 5th chapter, 4th verse, purport. Prabhupada says that regulated devotional service will rise to Raga Bhakti. So externally regulated devotion of Lord Chaitanya's followers may bear same name as and appearance as Vaikuntha Vaidhi Bhakti, but the two are set apart by contrasting mood and goals. We were touching this particular subject also before, why we are advised to worship even Radha Krishna in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. Srila Prabhupada, who set his followers on the path of regulated devotion, confirmed the above conclusion. Regarding your second question, what determines whether a devotee goes to a Vaikuntha planet or Golok Vrindavan? Those devotees who are following Vidhi Marg are meant to going to Vaikuntha planets, and those who are following the Raga Marg are meant to going to Krishna Loka. It is generally accepted that the followers of Chaitanya are going to Golok Vrindavan. This is in the letter to Tamal Krishna, Los Angeles, 21st June 1970. Prabhupada writes, it is generally accepted that the followers of Lord Chaitanya are going to Goloka Vrindavan. But the pujaris are told to worship, and everybody else is also to worship the deity of their liking in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. Devotees often question the role Vaikuntha devotees have in the Sankirtan movement. What is their destination? What is their relationship with Krishna, with Lord Chaitanya and their Ishtadev? One of the Lord's worshipable expansions. Detailed answers to this question appear in the later chapters of this work. For now, suffice it is to say that all devotees, even those who feel attraction to the form of Godhead other than Shyama Sundara, should wholeheartedly serve the Lord Chaitanya's mission and practice the same sadhana as all of the Gauranga's followers. In turn, the Lord will reciprocate with their service and inner desires. By worshipping Shyam Sundar Krishna, these devotees will come to see their worshipable Lord in Vaikuntha. Devotees confused about this issue often cite Murari Gupta as an example of a devotee of Lord Chaitanya encouraged to worship Lord Ramchandra. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 15th chapter, 137th chapter and 57th verse is there. Murari Gupta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged to worship Lord Ramchandra. These devotees should note that Lord Chaitanya's encouraged Murari to follow the above principle, that is to worship Radha Krishna while remaining faithful to Lord Ram. In this regard, Lochandas Thakur narrates, then Lord Gauranga mercifully said to Murari, please do not know anything but devotion to me. If that is your desire, I will be Lord Ramchandra to you. I will be Lord Ramchandra, and you will taste the nectar of service to me. Still, in this Sankirtan movement, you must chant and glorify Sri Radha and Krishna. In this way, please render devotional service to me. Please hear these words with all your heart. This is in Chaitanya Mangal Madhya Khand Nityananda Milan, 11th chapter. Verses are 11, 15, 16 and 17. To conclude the topic of how ISKCON members should practice devotional service, they should neither reject the path of Vraja Bhakti nor take it up prematurely. Unless they genuinely desire Vaikuntha Bhakti, their patient fidelity to the regulative principles of devotional service will in good time mature into spontaneous service of Brajavasis. even if we have some iota, say mixed feeling, we are performing regulative principle, but we are immersed into some Brajavasi leelas and hearing, and that's okay. So unless they desire Vaikuntha Bhakti, their patient fidelity to the regulative principles of devotional service will in good time mature into spontaneous love of Brajavasis. So the sadhana bhakti will be transformed into Braja Bhakti. Purpose of all regulations. The impetus of regulative practice is faith in the scripture and the fear that by transgressing scriptural injunctions, one will commit sin and thus suffer. To make this point to all our four social orders of life and their spiritual counterparts, the four ashramas, Srimad Bhagavatam states, Cha esham purusham sakshat atma prabhavam ishwaram na bhajanti avagnananti sthanat bhrashta patanti adaha. If any member of the four varnas and four ashramas fail to worship, or if they intentionally disrespect the personality of Godhead, who is the source of their own creation, they will fall down from their position into a hellish state of life. Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 5th chapter, 3rd verse. This verse spoken by Narad is more than just a sober warning to worship Krishna. If it is synthesis of the purpose behind the rules and regulations of the Vedas that govern the Varnashram social system, in a sense, it instructs all living entities to conduct their lives according to the will of the Supreme Lord. By remembering his instructions, they invariably remember him, and by remembering him faithfully and favorably, they serve the purpose of those instructions. Therefore, it is said the cardinal principle of all the 9 steps of gradual, perfection of our Vaidhi Bhakti, the cardinal principle is to remember. Satatam smartavyam Vishnu vishmartavyam najatu chit sarva vidhi nishedasyahu etayore working kara. Remembrance is the cardinal principle of following all the regulative principles. This verse spoken by Narad is more than just a sober warning to the worship Krishna. It is a synthesis of the purpose behind the rules and regulations of the Vedas and that govern the Varnashram social system. In a sense, it instructs all the living entities to conduct their lives according to the will of the Supreme Lord. By remembering his instruction, they inevitably remember him. And by remembering him faithfully and favorably, they will serve the purpose of those instructions. Practicing devotees, by definition, feel great concern for scriptural injunctions because for them, following such injunctions, their means to approach Krishna. However, numerous recommendations, vidhi, and prohibition, nishedha, of the in Vedic injunctions sometimes appear contradictory and can become source of bewilderment. Thus, the Acharyas, quoting the famous Padma Puran verse, offers devotees a simple guideline for practicing sadhana and as means to resolve conflicting views. Smartavyah satatam Vishnu vismartavya na jatuchit sarva vidhi nishedasyahu etayoreva kinkara. Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastra should be the servants of these two principles. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 113th verse. Never forget Krishna or Vishnu. And what is other thing? All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastra should be the servant of these two principles. Always remember and never forget at any time. This brilliant statement simplify the many confusing and sometimes contradictory statements of scriptures into one rule and one prohibition. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. By adhering these two injunctions, alert devotees can perfectly fulfill all their duties. But if the devotees are not alert, they will forget Krishna and fall from their position. Even if they perfectly execute all their varnashram duties, mundane or blind obedience offer no spiritual benefit. How can one always think of Krishna? It is natural for a person in love to always be absorbed in thought of his or her beloved. Similarly, advanced devotees approaching the stage of ecstatic devotion constantly think about Krishna, their beloved. This is the perfection of Krishna consciousness. However, devotees in early stage of regulated devotional service are not so advanced. They cannot always remember Krishna. Their bad habits influence and distract them, and therefore their affection for the Lord is less mature and less intense. For this reason, Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Sanatan Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas have compiled basic rules of devotion to help practicing devotees, sadhakas, to fix their mind on Krishna. Rupa Goswami says that he selected 64 prominent rules devotional service from Hari Bhakti Vilas. It is expressed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 72nd, 73rd, and 74th verses. "64 prominent rules." We already studied that in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Angas. There are 5 mukhya angas, means the main. The rest are secondary. Remind and remember. So the pure devotee generally follow the items he listed, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions that Rupa Goswami's 64 items come from similar instruction in Krishna gave to Uddhava. So check that in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 19th chapter, 20, 21, 23, 24 verses are there. Krishna instructs Uddhava. Amongst the 64 items, some are engagements for the body, some are for the senses, and some for the mind. Thus, regulative devotional service in practice is the method of engaging the body, mind, and senses in Krishna's service. Some devotees reach perfection by practicing only one of the 64 items, and others by practicing more than one. The end result is fully executing each activity, however, is in constant remembrance of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was master of engaging his disciple and indeed the whole world in fixing the mind on Krishna, and he did it in such a way that simultaneously fulfills Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. Two examples of Srila Prabhupada's genius at engaging others are book distribution and the enrollment of life members. Wow! Srila Prabhupada ki jai! That's my department. Srila Prabhupada writes, when one goes with the Sankirtan party or to sell books, he naturally thinks that he is going to sell Krishna's books. In this way, he is remembering Krishna. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 113 verse per part. Srila Prabhupada does not restrict his concept of remembering Krishna to meditating only on Krishna's form or pastimes. For his divine grace, full engagement in Krishna's service, especially speaking about him, is the means to remember most suited to Vaishnavas of the every caliber. Young men and women especially can dovetail their exuberance with this noble cause. By so doing, they purify their hearts and acquire the ability to think of Krishna at will. In this way, Srila Prabhupada marries preaching with regulative devotional practice. He thus engages his followers in the topmost religious principles, remembering Krishna. Devotees interested in detailed description of 64 items of devotional service should consult Nectar of Devotion, that is chapter number 6 and the 14th verse. 5 main items of devotion.
We should stop here very much.
Huh?
We should stop here because Divya Radhika has a class to go to teach later.
Oh, she has a class.
Yeah, so it's 8:30 now.
Okay, 8:33, Prabhu. We have the same program in Thailand, but it will be independent, not to be burdened on international centers, especially Indian centers. Yeah. So, anybody has any question or comments? Haribol Prabhu's Jiva Jago.
I really like how much he's building our faith in Srila Prabhupada more and more and more.
Huh?
I really like how he's building our faith in Srila
Yeah.
Prabhupada more and more.
Definitely. This is the real glorification of Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
To know what's in the mind of Srila Prabhupada, and he expressed everything in his books, and Shivram Maharaj is simply quoting them. Yes, by analyzing the reasons why Srila Prabhupada implemented everything in Sankirtan movement. Haribol.
Prasanatma.
Jai Prasannatma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful lessons we're learning every day, listening. Um, One thought came as you were mentioning. I thought the higher taste was supposed to be the taste of taking prasadam, but the love of God is, or Krishna, is
It's very
even the
deep.
highest taste of anything else.
Yes.
And that is what one needs to achieve. And I felt a little bit yesterday when we all met together, had some prasadam, and I thought there's something beyond this. There should be, we shouldn't be focusing so much on the prasadam and forgetting
Yes, but the prasadam
Krishna.
should not bring us down on the material platform at all. So
Yes,
generally, Prabhupada instituted a system while taking prasadam together. Somebody will be reading either from Krishna book or some other literature that Srila Prabhupada, and everybody would listen and take prasadam honor simultaneously.
yes, Gurudev. In that context, we are guilty. We were focusing only on the prasadam, um,
No,
and the
there's
cakes and
a
everything
lot of
else.
halla gulla that is not good.
Yeah,
At least in practicing devotees, in
yes,
every temple we should implement that back.
yes, Gurudev.
3 times you take prasadam, 3 times you get opportunity to hear about Krishna.
Yes, this will be a lesson for all the future ones that we will have.
Otherwise also, you can implement within your own home, because
Yes,
hardly we have time to study scrutinizingly Srila Prabhupada's book.
yes. I'm sure the ones here are so delighted to be in your presence and listening to you, Gurudev, in this particular Chintamani.
Shravanam
Shuddha Bhakti.
Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam.
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Vidya Lalasa is asking that by your blessings we may be surrounded by Vaishnavas when we leave our body.
I think somebody should keep on continuing this. Do not wait for my sickness even. You will gain more.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept Mahabala obeisances.
Yeah.
Gurudev, since we were discussing about prasadam, we know that the Mahaprasadam of the Lord is non-different from him. So what should be our proper mood in honoring Mahaprasad?
Mahaprasad, if it is said, prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopajayate, every problem, both material, bodily problems, mental problems, can be eradicated by consuming prasadam. But it should be consumed in the mood of service to prasadam. Just like we perform devotional service, taking prasadam is also a devotional service. It is not service to the taste buds.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So how do we develop that consciousness, Gurudev?
Practice. Remember Krishna. Somebody should remind you by reading. Or if you have Prabhupada's tape, before you start eating your lunch alone or whatever it is, or any time, just play Srila Prabhupada's, lectures.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Surely, I will. Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Dandavat.
Anything else? All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai.